And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well, as we are monitoring live the LSU baseball reaction, show. I guess we do this every Tuesday night. LSU is leading Louisiana Tech, number 14 ranked Louisiana Tech. Midweek games don't matter, Blake. They don't matter. Well, do they matter when you're playing the number 14 team in the nation? Oh, and really, when you're struggling and you have a losing conference record, you're damn right it does. Don't go on your stupid show or whatever you do and say midweek games against a top 15 opponent doesn't matter. The Rudy Poo-ness. Oh, but it is 8-6 in top of 5. Look, Paul Mainieri ain't playing tonight. Y'all done pissed that man off. We done pissed that man off or not. Look, if you can't play, if you ain't playing well, he gonna let you know he's pulling people out tonight. So we do have a lot to talk about. Also, during the show, what we're going to be talking about is, should we expand the college football playoff? Should we expand that? Now, our good friend J-Boy Jake Crane kind of inspired us to talk about this. We're going to talk about that as well. Should we expand it? I'm probably going to be in the minority on that in reference to expanding that. So we shall see. We shall see. As Fowler fires a strike. Okay, Fowler, we see you. But, guys, before we get started, we're going to get to a couple of your comments as we do, as always. Ryan Thibodeau says, hashtag midweek games matter, hashtag go Tigers. I agree a little bit with you there. As you know, I think every game matters. Ryan Guidry says, let's go. Congrats to Derek Stingley Jr. getting number 7, and so does Jacob Cole, who says the same as well. Chris Barnhill says, some of your haters are big mad about Louisiana sports gambling. They are. I'm taking an ass chewing on Louisiana sports gambling. You know, it's funny because 70% of the state said that they wanted it. Give the people what they want. And you know what else the people want? Like Stephen Frey says right here, print the shirts, hashtag, and we are live. All right. Guys, you know that's taxable, right? Like, every time y'all pay for that, I got to pay for it my damn self out of taxes. There's two things in this world that Big Daddy don't like. Number one of them, taxes. Number two, death. One of them I hadn't experienced yet. And I'm going to let you decide on if it's the taxes or the death. I do not like it. We'll see. We'll see. Remington says, only time I'll cheer for Tech for over LSU is tonight. Go Dogs. Oh, yikes. Yikes. Are you, Remington, are you a grad? Are you a Louisiana Tech grad? Do you do the quarters at Louisiana Tech? Now bases loaded. Still top of the 5, 1 out. Hopefully LSU can roll a double play here as they only are up by 2. Look at Paul. Look how worried Paul Mainieri is, bro. My man is big time worried. He's buku worried. As Doty behind the plate just gives us signals. Jesus Christ. Remington says he's a Tech alum. All right. Before we do this, as bases are loaded, we got to pay some bills before we get started, as always. And, guys, none better than our good friends over at GM Varnado & Sons. GM Varnado & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino at AYS, sent you on by. And our good friends over at betonline.ag, guys, we've been talking about it. It's going to be into the Senate committee this upcoming Tuesday, but online betting in the state of Louisiana. Go log in today. Go to betonline.ag, create your login, get ready for when this bill passes. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, odds, and updates. It's the best way to place your bets And as we mentioned, it's free to sign up. Head over to the website again at betonline.ag. That's betonline.ag and get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. And in that way, they will know your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino at AYS, sent you on by. All right, it's 2-2. Bases are loaded. Guys, this is a big game. This is kind of a live reaction to what we're seeing. Oh, that was a strikeout. Okay, so 2 outs in the top of the 5th. This is going to be a big deal. Look, this is a big game. I mean, and look, another thing, too, this is an in-state school. I am so over people saying that midweight games don't matter. What do you mean that they don't matter? Every game matters, bro. Especially when in baseball, when it comes to RPI. Here's the biggest misconception, the biggest lie of all time. Guys, if you lose to a bad team, that affects your RPI. It just does. The same about when happens when you beat a good team, your RPI rises. It's the biggest lie out there in college baseball athletics. It's a lie. So all these people saying that these midweek games don't matter, quit with the foolishness. All right, Fowler, as he crosses over another strike. That breaking ball is working magic right now. It's working magic. I'm just so over this midweek game don't matter bullshit. Dakota Harper says, I want me a Rudy Poo shirt. Okay. Oh, God. Base hit into center field. That's going to score 2. We're going to have a tie game at 8-8 as Louisiana Tech has now tied the game. So the number 14 Louisiana Tech, I almost called them Raging Cajuns, but the Bulldogs. I almost had a slip of the tongue. Ryan Thibodeau says expect to win every game. That's the point. That's the point. You expect and you want to go in and win every game. This is a big game. You go in. What if you win 2 of 3 against Alabama and you continue to roll? What if you sweep them? It will be a big deal moving forward. A very big deal. I forgot to mention this too. We do have the hashtag Ask Blake tonight as well. I think we're going to make that a big an every night thing. The hashtag Ask Blake because it just helps me out so much. Ooh, that was a good pitch. That's a good pitch by Fowler. God, they got to get out of this inning unscathed. I mean, no, they won't be unscathed, but they got to get out of this inning. Juice Washington, what's up, Juice? He says, hashtag Ask Blake. Wanted Booty to wear number 7, but I'll settle for Derek Stingley Jr. Look, guys, it's a long tradition of guys, DBs, especially wearing number 7, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, and now Derek Stingley. You had great athletes and great wide receiver in DJ Chark. Leonard Fournette wore number 7. I mean, the only I guess you could say the 2 that necessarily maybe didn't live up to the hype was last year. Jacoby Stevens and Jonathan Giles also wore number 7. But everybody, Grant Delpit is another guy that wore number 7. I mean, there's been a lot of defensive backs that have really made that number just what it is. It's like the best athlete on your team's going to wear number 7. And we kind of been hearing that, but I mean, you want to let him go out there and say it. We kind of tweeted at that today, kind of giving the hint to you guys about him wearing number 7. I'm glad they gave it to him. And I'm excited for Derek Stingley. Look, he's got to have a big year. I don't think that it's any I don't think it's I don't want to say it's a bad take for us to say that he's got to have a good year. Look, he's had times where he's struggled. And that's not a slight at him because he's had really good games. Corey Kaye says, I can't stand when they say hashtag or quote unquote midweek games don't matter. Well, BS. Tech is ranked number 14. Beat that butt as Fowler's going to get out of the inning with a strikeout. So it's still 8-8. We'll go into the bottom of the 5th. You know, this game is kind of taking long. Usually LSU games have been feeling like they've been blowing by. You know, Paul Mainieri, look, I want to make this very quickly, and we're going to get into this college football playoff expansion stuff. Paul Mainieri had kind of put his foot down. He started to get pissed off. He's starting to get pissed off. And I like to see that he has some fight in him. Look, guys, I know that we're saying that this man's going to retire. He's going to step down. I get all that. But I want to see look, I'm always going to root for LSU to be good, win. I don't want them to lose. So we'll see. Eric Wright says, hashtag long post. Okay. no more than, all right, so here's the college football playoff expansion. Here we go. We can talk about this now that we're in a commercial break. But Eric says no more than 8 teams in the college football playoff. If not, conference champions would decline. I agree with you there. And teams believe that they are playoff worthy will sit out star players to prepare for the playoffs instead of some conference games. I don't know, Eric. So let's go with this. There's been a lot of talk, and our good friend, like I mentioned in the open, Jake Crane, J-Boy, go check his podcast out at the J-Boy Show. He's kind of got, I got to give him credit. He's got the people out there kind of, talking about it. He's even talking about it. And look, there are some things that he said, and guys, go listen to it, but there's some things that he said that I agree with, and there's some things that I disagree with on this college football playoff expansion. Historically, when we talk about college football playoffs, and we talk about the top 8 teams, so if we expand this to 8 teams, as Eric just mentioned, historically, though in those 8 teams, you have either the conference champion and the conference runner-up. So if I'll give an SEC example. Alabama plays Georgia. LSU plays Georgia. Georgia's still going to be in that top 8. So what has the regular season told me that I don't already know? LSU beat Georgia. They lost to South Carolina in 18. Who's another one? We can even say in 18 when Georgia beat Auburn in a rematch. What do we got to know by Auburn getting back in the playoff and a 6-rated Auburn playing Georgia for a third time? What do we got to know about that? There's nothing in there that we have to know about this college football playoff expansion that the regular season's not telling me. And I know that history has not always been this way, but history has shown us over the last 3 years for college football playoff expansion. 2018, Clemson, they ran the table as Kay Beloso is going to hit a hard line drive. That's going to get over the right fielder's head. And it looks like he's going to have a stand-up double, and he will. But let's look at 2018, 19, and 20. Clemson in 2018 really ran the table when it comes to college football in the regular season and playoffs. They obliterated Alabama in the college football national championship. In 2019, we remember what LSU did, beating all of those top 10 teams. And they did it in the college football playoff when they obliterated Oklahoma, and then they really put it on Clemson there in the second half and took the lead in the first half as well. And in 2020, as most of us LSU fans don't care to admit, Alabama ran the table, and they did really good. So there's that one team over the last 3 years who historically has just ran the table. So why are we expanding this college football playoff? It is not our job as fans to go out there and say, well, it gets coast to coast, the TV ratings, all this. I get the TV ratings. TV ratings don't matter to me. Now, maybe they do, and maybe they will if we start going more national. I'd love for Los Angeles to be big in college football, as it looks like that's going to be Bianco laying down a bunt. He's going to be safe. So now we're going to have runners on first and third. What a great bunt by Drew Bianco. Very quickly, very, very quickly. That kid has legitimately turned it on. I'm glad we're doing this during a live show so that I can talk about Drew Bianco and how, look, he's hitting, 240 now? I mean, look, the kid's just really doing some good stuff, playing hard defensively. So I guess we can – I just like him at second. He's safe. That's not even close. But why expand to 8? And quite honestly, why expand to 6? You will still, at 5 and 6, you will still have the teams that just lost a conference championship at 5 or 6. So if you're hypothetically saying that we should go to 6 teams, that means hypothetically, again, number 6, Georgia, we be playing Alabama again. What do I need to know about that? What do I need to know about that? Why does Clemson, who got or Ohio State for that matter, who we will find out just got abolished, or I say abolished, but just got cremated legitimately almost by Alabama. Why do they need to play Georgia? They're on a crash course to play Alabama as conference champs. What do I need that for? I mean, the only thing that would be good about it is that we get more football. That would be the good thing for it. But you're watering down the regular season. That would be my biggest worry for college football is you're watering down the season. So I'm not going to stop using the word hypothetically, but let's just say a team loses in the regular season and it's neck and neck in the SEC West. LSU beats Alabama and or beats LSU. What does LSU really have to worry about? It's almost kind of better if you don't win your conference at that point. It's kind of better. Now, you want to go out there, you want to be the champs of the SEC. I get all that. I get all of that. And like I'm always on here harping, you want to win every game. Is Trey Morgan's going to hit a ball to second. They're not short. They're not going to have a play. So a run's going to score. It's going to be 9-8 LSU in the bottom of the fifth. Runners on first and second with one out as Trey Morgan continues his hot streak. So that's why I don't understand what the regular season's not telling me that I got to expand the playoffs more. What do I hit me up in the comments and let me know. Let me know. As Eric Wright sent us some stars via Facebook. Eric, and everybody that sends us stars via Facebook, guys, it always helps us grow our podcast and everything that we're doing. Ryan Thibodeau says, #Ask Blake. I said when the college football came out that it should be 18 playoff. The margin of error is so high with 4 versus 8. But that's what makes college football. Like, what do you mean margin of error? I mean, are we okay? Look, I mean, if you want 8 teams, then the conference championship doesn't mean – yes, you can say that you are your conference's champ, and that's not taken off. But if your goal is like everybody's goal is to win a national championship, what does it matter at that point? Like, it doesn't matter. Conferences would have to realign, I would believe, because then you would want to take the top 2 teams. Oh, is this going to be – Cruz is going to hit a line drive to second. They're going to try to roll a double play. They can't. There's going to be an error on the second baseman. So Cruz is going to be on. Oh, no, it's going to be bases loaded. Oh, Benjamin. See, y'all making my man mad up in there. He doesn't like college football playoff expansion. TJ says, ask Blake, I didn't think Drew was that fast. That boy was moving. Talking about Bianco. Yeah, he was moving. But to Ryan's point, I don't see where it makes any sense. I just don't see where it makes any sense. Remington says, make it where all conference champions are in the playoffs. Well, you have 5 Power 5 conferences, okay, as Dugas gets hit by a pitch. So that's going to bring in a run. So now it's going to be 10-8 LSU with bases still loaded and no outs. But here's my question. If you have 5 Power 5 conferences, as weak as the Pac-12 has been, you're going to be putting up a number 16. Let's just say it is USC, and you have one of those conferences like the SEC. Let's just say Georgia would be 5, and USC then would they be 6? Would you have to move them all the way up to 6? So let's just say that the conference champion is 8-4. An 8-4 champion belongs to be in that playoff? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. It's not fair for an SEC. And here's another problem with that. Are you going to kick LSU out? Let's just say LSU 6 and USC is 8-4 and they win the Pac-12. Then what? We're going to be pissed off, and rightfully so, that LSU plays a tougher schedule in the toughest conference in college football. But you know what? USC gets in because it's a conference champ only thing. We've seen Alabama get a 4 seed and get in there and go and win that thing. I don't like it. Gino says Ohio State made it when Penn State beat their butt. True, but they also had 2 losses. I mean, it's not a perfect system. But is that an outlier? I mean, they lost to Pitt. I mean, they lost 2 games in that regular season, and Ohio State only lost 1. Because of how conferences are aligned, Penn State gets in, and Ohio State gets in the playoff. I thought, and here's the crazy thing, Ohio State wound up winning that year. They wound up winning the college football national championship with a 3rd-string quarterback. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get behind an 18 playoff. Here's another thing that we hadn't talked about in reference to this. At-large bids, these at-large teams. As LSU is currently playing a Conference USA team. Let's just say Louisiana Tech has a great season. They're in the top 8, top 10. Do they deserve to be in the playoff? I get that UCF beat Auburn that one time and Boise State beat Oklahoma all those years ago, but a team like Cincinnati plays a team like Ohio State twice, gets beat twice. They play a Georgia team, the SEC East champs, and get beat. So what do I need to learn more from number 9? And Cincinnati ended up in the top 10. They were number 9 when it was all said and done. So what am I going to learn from Cincinnati? Now, they didn't play – well, no, they didn't lose to them twice because we didn't have out of conference. So they lost to them once. So what do I – again, they lost to a Georgia. They're 0-2 against Power 5 teams in the last 2 seasons. What else do I need to know? Mark says expanding to 8 just gives Alabama a better chance of getting in with 2 losses. It helps every team getting in with 2 losses. It waters down the regular season. There is no other way to slice it. Now, I guess you could make the argument, as there's going to be a play at shortstop, that's going to be a double play. The first base coach, he's saying to put the headset on. Looks like the first baseman might have stepped off, been off the bag. Regardless, a run is going to score, and there will be 2 outs as we currently sit it. This is going to be interesting. They're going to take a look at this. But it helps every team, every single team. It helps with this college or with getting in with 2 losses. Again, what do I got to learn from number 9, number 8, Cincinnati? Nothing. That team would get obliterated by whoever is number 1. Are you going to convince me that Cincinnati should play LSU in 2019, or they should have played Alabama in 2020, or they should have played 2018 Clemson? No, you can't do that. You're not going to convince me of any of it. And Gino says Notre Dame too. But if we're being a little honest, Notre Dame gave Alabama their toughest game of all season. I mean, like they were looking forward. I don't believe that they were. I mean, look up front. Notre Dame at times was physically dominating them. I don't think that they were looking forward. Could you make the argument also that a 2-loss SEC team could beat maybe I don't know. There's not a 2-loss SEC team from the last couple of years that would have beat teams in the playoff in 2019, 18, or 20. It wouldn't have happened. Georgia's not beating Notre Dame. Regardless if you guys hate me for saying it, they're not going to beat Notre Dame. They're not going to beat Clemson. They're not going to beat Ohio State. They're not going to beat Alabama. The 4 best teams are in. If you want to debate it for whoever gets mollywopped by number 1, then so be it. As they're going to say the runner is safe at first. So now they're going to have runners on first and third. A run did score. Yeah, he was clearly off the bag. And look, the first base coach is sitting right there looking at it. That's a good play, man. LSU needs to continue to pour it on here. Kyle says, Blake, why doesn't LSU football have an offensive and defensive number 7, 18 playoff, 5 conference champions, and 3 at large? Best 2 records get a first round bye. Don, again, I've literally explained that. Number 1, it waters down the regular season. And again, somebody in these comments then now tell me, what does a number 8 team give me? What does it give me? Or other than giving me more football, maybe engages somebody, but a 9-3 USC does not belong in there with anybody. A 9-3 USC, a 10-2 Oregon, whatever you may have it, is not worthy, in my opinion, to get into a college football playoff. And the truth of it all is when they would get patty smacked up and down the field, bad baby, all over the field by a Georgia team. JT Daniels, who, regardless of what you want to say with him, would beat the ever-living dog shit, and that Georgia team would beat the dog shit out of Oregon. It just is what it is. Is what it is. Jonathan says 2011 would have been a good time for a 14 playoff. You know, I was thinking about that today as we were getting ready for the show. I mean, it would have prevented Oklahoma State from saying, "Oh, well, we should have been in." In my opinion, the two best teams were in that game. The two best teams, Alabama and LSU, were in that game. Somebody give me a reason why number 8 should play number 1 in these comments, and we will entertain this. Until then, why should I? Stefan says 6 teams, 1 and 2 get buys to reward those 2 teams for basically having perfect seasons in competitive conferences. Then Georgia losing in the SEC championship game means nothing. As Zach Arnold's going to go down. Not Zach Darnold. This isn't the New York Football Jets. What does it matter? I mean, Texas A&M. This is going to be great. Texas A&M was a number 5 ranked team last year. You mean to tell me that Texas A&M was a playoff team? You mean to tell me that Kellen Mond and Texas A&M should go up against Clemson? They should go up because Clemson was number 3. Make them number 6. Let them go up against Clemson. See how that happens. You remember that Texas A&M team that couldn't score on LSU's defense? You remember the absolute worst defense in LSU's football history? That defense. But you know what? Let's put Texas A&M in. You know what? They've already got beat by Alabama. So what does it matter? It means nothing. I mean, they would be the prime example of last year if it meant nothing. Hey, we lost to Alabama. Let's just run the table. And you know what? We actually can rest our players and not playing in the SEC championship game. And we get in the playoff. Maybe we can have 2 weeks to look forward to playing number 3 Clemson. Devin Stiles says, hold the rope. Skip Doc on May 25th. It's actually, I thought it was the 24th. I think it's the 24th. Yeah, we might take that day off. We need to watch that. Sanford's going to hit a long ball out to left field. It's going to be caught. So LSU's leading 11-8, and we will go into the top of the 7th inning. Boom. Boom. Daryl Adams says A&M was better than Ohio State last year. Yes. No, they weren't. Quit kidding yourself. Come on now. Come on. Where were they better at? Were they better at quarterback, offensive line, defense? No, and no. They weren't better. You going to take Kellen Mond over Justin Fields? Come on, man. Come on. And I get last year was a little of a what's the word I want? Outlier, right? Like it's an outlier in the sense of we don't see that all the time. In reference to a COVID year, I mean, it's not going to be like that. David says A&M was garbage last year and will be again this year. They weren't good. Gino says, again, Oklahoma and Ohio stays skull drug. And also says Georgia would have skull drug Notre Dame. Come on, bro. I mean, all I can say is that Notre Dame played Alabama the closest that they've been. I don't really trust Georgia in a big-time game anyway. I just don't understand what a top 6, top 8 team. Hey, you want Wisconsin? What is Wisconsin? And again, please someone show me in the comments as to why these teams need to be in there. Outside of expansion for TV ratings and all this other, it would be fun, getting regions into it. Other than that kind of stuff, someone please tell me why they deserve what the season showed that the regular season didn't teach me, and tell me of what they deserve to be in the playoff for. Because you can't. Let's see. Sick of hearing how good A&M and Georgia is going to be every year. Hashtag overrated. That's true. Kenny says Texas A&M is being overhyped. I think that they are too. You want that team to be in the playoff? I mean, if you're saying that Texas A&M, I forget that my mic's right here, and that we got the new headset, so I got to be careful with taking that off. That's my fault, guys. If we're saying if Texas A&M hypothetically beat a Notre Dame, they're going to play Alabama again. You think Alabama's not going to skull drug LSU and 19's not going to skull drug those teams? They would beat them. It would be bad. They already have. Kyle says, no way a 9-3 Pac-12 team beats anybody or the SEC. Well, Kyle, you were proposing earlier for the conference champion to get in. So if a 9-3 USC team deserves to be in, then number one, why do we have top 25? Okay, so then that needs to go out by the wayside. No more top 25. If you like that, then sorry, expanding that would quite honestly put that aside into the very last week of the season. Maybe you can have some polls here and there, but are you going to say a 9-3 USC team should be in the top 6? Because that's hypothetically what you would have to do. All that would be out the window. All of that is out the window. And I know Russ says here about money. Money needs to come in and shove it, get his confidence back. Oh, you're talking about Blake Money. I'm like, what you talking about? Yeah, he does. So if you're proposing that to happen in a 9-3, any conference for that matter, they have 3 losses. and you're proposing for them to be in the playoff. Why? Again, still not seen anywhere in here where I don't want to say a good justification, but someone give me a good justification as to why. I'm still waiting for it. Maybe we need to get J-Boy on the show and we kind of debate it. Line drive to Drew Bianco. That's going to be an out. So there's going to be 2 outs in the top of the 6 as LSU still leads 11-8. All right, one more, then we're going to get to a break here. Daryl Adams says, do you remember the A&M that had the game called away from them against Clemson a year ago before that? No, they didn't. No, they did not, Daryl. Clemson was up by 20. Clemson was legitimately up by 20. Where are you talking about that? That's not even close to that. Not even close. They weren't even close in that game. Oh, and you remember you're talking about the Clemson team that got to the national championship, didn't lose a game until then. That same team that played LSU that got beat by 50. They got beat by 50 or 50-7, so by 43. Line drive out to left field. That's going to be a double. Oh, it hit that poor girl. Get out the way, girl. Get it moving. Ryan says you'd have some pissed off 1 or 2 lost teams. Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. Why wouldn't they be pissed off? You're going to catapult 9-3 USC for what? That conference has been hot diggity trash for a little while now. A little while. Mark says keep it at 4. Russ says there's not a good one to extend the playoff. No way. There is, in my opinion, there isn't a good argument to expand it outside of money and TV ratings. Gino says because nobody wants to see Clemson play close schools when most of the Power 5 plays everywhere. Oh, that's going to be a good throw. Oh, good throw. 11-8, we're going to go into the bottom of the 6. I wonder if it's about to start raining there. If you're in Baton Rouge right now, let me know. Is it raining in BR right now? Let me know that. All right, let's do this. Let's pay some bills around this thing. Guys, none better than our good friends, Mr. Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape. Guys, get in touch with my good friend Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape today. 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. If you want the best looking yard in your neighborhood, call him today. And if you're in the greater Denham Springs or Baton Rouge area, 225-937-7220. He's going to make your yard look the best in your neighborhood. And our good friends over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600. Or go over to drakewilliamslawfirm.com. That's drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Real estate, successions, DWIs, they can take care of it all. Again, go to drakewilliamslawfirm.com. That's drakewilliamslawfirm.com. All right. TJ says it's pouring here in Thibodaux. Mark says, Blake, you should do a poll on Twitter. Keep it at 4 or expand it to 8. I did it a couple of years ago, and everybody said expand it. But there's a problem with going with a poll if you don't have context. Here's the thing that I want. Give me context as to why. What is going to justify it? What justifies going to 8? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have the other Power 5 conference automatically get in, and then 3 at-large teams. So those 3 at-large teams have been teams like this: Texas A&M, Georgia, Wisconsin, Penn State. Who else? I think Oregon was in it once. Here, LSU was in it. LSU was in it when they played UCF. And look, that LSU team had 3 losses. I love them to death. I love LSU to death. I want them to get in the playoff. But what did that team do to deserve? They got beat by Florida. They got beat by Alabama, and they lost to a Texas A&M team that they had no business losing to because the refs blew those calls all up and down the field because the referees were on their knees. Okay? So, again, those are your at-large teams. Those are the at-large. Stefan's phrase said hot diggity hashtag hot diggity trash. Rudy Booth's younger brother. All right. I'll dig it. Hot diggity trash. Guys, I get rambling on here, and sometimes I just forget what I know what I'm saying, but when I get rambling like the hashtag hot diggity trash, I forget what I'm saying. Oh, look at the older Doty getting a base hit. Hell yeah, man, I got me a base hit. I'm from Denham Springs. Hoochie coochie. Let's go, Beloso. Darren says only positive thing about expanding the playoff system would do is bring extra football. Yeah, and that's true. We've talked about that. I'm not going to complain about extra football. I'm not going to complain about extra football that would actually matter. And that's one thing. You're taking what this is what you're doing when you expand the playoff. You are taking one season or this regular season that has a lot of weight to it and transferring all of that merit to every game really matters and not losing. 2, you're expanding it to only 6 or 8 teams at the back end. Those games would matter. So in November, December, those games would matter more, but I would rather an entire long season of games really, really mattering, and games will matter. I'm not saying they won't matter in the regular season, but again, we've expanded on that enough to talk about why it waters it down. Waters. And because it just does. Let's see. Kyle says, I agree with you, but expansion is going to happen. As Chad Carr says, more teams equals more money. Yeah, you guys are right there. It probably is going to happen. And what's going to happen is you're going to have teams getting their asses kicked, and you're going to have teams just getting obliterated. Hey, you know what? If they are okay with, and that's the problem with this. They're more worried about money than what actually is going on in the sport. I'm going to throw this out there. You guys aren't going to probably like me saying this. The college football playoff, is more worried about money, them making money, ADs and schools making money, than they are. And everybody just frowns upon this name, image, and likeness thing. Oh, so it's okay for us to expand and for everybody else to make more money than the athletes. You know what? Your $15,000-$20,000 tuition. You know, we know that you guys are going out there playing and you're making a $66 million a year going to the playoff. But sorry, as the accountant sits behind the desk. Sorry. I went to law school. I ain't never played football a day in my life. Not saying that from the Drake Williams law firm. Those guys played athletics. Just you guys know what I'm saying. Darren says, yep, extra football equals extra bad football. It could. That's the risk that you have. Alabama Notre Dame wasn't close. Bianco's going to get another. No, it's not going to get a base hit. I thought that man was about to get another bunt base hit. Good googly moogly. Stefan, that is good googly moogly is Rudy Poo's first cousin, if you were wondering. Ryan Thibodeau says money is why they have college football in bowls. They have it, Ryan, because college football and bowls or college football brings money, and they're trying to expand on making the money. I did not intend to talk college football playoff expansion. I thought we were going to talk some concerns for next fall, but it just continued. Look, it's a good debate. It's a good debate. I want the context of why people want the college football playoff expansion. I don't want people to just run out there and say, expand it because we want you to. It means more football for me and my uncle so we can drink Bud Lights, Natty Lights, Keystones, and we can sit here and watch the Georgia Bulldogs get beat by Louisiana State University. I don't want that, bro. Hoochie coochie. Stephen Miller says I got about 20 minutes and the Rains will be on our ass. Okay, so we're in the bottom of the sixth. Hopefully they can get to the top, or they'll be at the top of the seventh. I wonder if they call it out. Charlie Viator says Saul Derek Stingley Jr. got number 7. Very well deserved. Yes, that is. David says you are dead on about your take on the money in name, image, and likeness. It's true. We want college football expand. The college football playoff wants more money. ADs want more money. The SEC. Oh, Trey Morgan, did you just blast that? You beautiful son of a gun. He did, but it's foul. Damn, I thought he had him a bomb. That was a 3-0 count, too. But everybody wants their money. But God forbid I run out here and say, let's do stuff for name, image, and likeness for these athletes. God forbid. Steven says, oh, my God, stop me if you heard this. Another runner gets thrown out. Uh-oh, are you in front of us? Steven, I think you might be in front of us. Ryan Thibodeau says, Pabst Blue Ribbon for everyone. Hoochie coochie. Steven, I think you're a little ahead of us. He says 12-8 LSU through 6. Yeah, you're a little ahead of me. That means Morgan gets a base hit here. And he does. As Morgan's going to hit a base field in the right. And he's going to get run down. Okay, thank you, Steven. Nostradamus. We could call you Nostradamus on this thing, though. We could say that you're Nostradamus. You know what? With that, we've been going for 45 minutes long. We do have the top of the 7th coming in. We're about 45 minutes in. You know what? I might ask J-Boy if he wants to come on the show. Maybe we can discuss this in reference to this college football playoff expansion again. And I'm sure I'll get him as the days go on. However, I have yet to see a good reason as to why college football expansion really should happen. I've heard people's takes. I've heard people saying stuff. I don't agree with any of them because it would put these teams in the playoff. Stop with that take. I know it gets them in the playoff. I know that more expansion gets them in the playoff. I know that. There's no other way to explain that. Last one. Darren says, what is it about Paul Mainieri coach teams poor as base running? You know, there's parts of me, though, like what can he teach Trey Morgan there? You know, like the who was it that got thrown out at home earlier? K. Doty. I mean, Nolan Cain's telling him to hold up, and he's going to home. He just ran through the sun. And you know what? Good for Paul Maneri for taking these kids out earlier in the game. DiGiacomo, you don't want to give effort and die for a ball? See you, cuz. Hey, Jordan Thompson, you going to make 2 errors? Bye-bye. I like it from Paul. Hey, you want to get beat? Oh, well. And he's putting players in that are coming in, and they want to play and win. Shit, I mean, look, Zach Arnold, his first 2 at-bats hits 2 doubles. Give it to him, man. Give it to him. Name, image, Kyle says name, image, likeness. Is it the chicken egg situation? No. You don't. I mean, here's the God's honest truth. Without great student athletes and athletes like Derek Stingley Jr., who we're praising for wearing number 7, if you don't have him to win football games, you don't make money. That's why recruiting's so big. And you know, one thing that I didn't talk about was this. Recruiting is a big reason as to why these teams are chalky, why this game is very chalky, why teams continue to Alabama, Clemson, LSU's are in it. Auburn's can get in it sometimes. Florida State, when Jimbo was there, was in it. Oregon's in the very beginning. I think of what we've had, how many years of the college football playoff? What, 22, 23 teams have been into the college football playoff, and we're saying expand it. It's the same teams over and over again. Yeah, you might recycle a team here and there, but regardless, you're not having multitudes amounts of teams getting into the playoffs. It's always the same teams. Always the same teams. That comes down because of recruiting. Recruiting trickles down through that. Guys, y'all are so my mama getting after y'all's asses. She says coaches don't run bases, only can practice scenarios. It's up to the player. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I agree with her. I agree with her. Go get their ass, Cookie. Get that ass. Damn, what a play by Morgan. Damn, what a catch by Morgan. Guys, y'all are ahead of me. For whatever reason, you guys are ahead of me. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get out of here on that. We're gonna have David Waters, Gator Dave, as we go around the SEC on tomorrow. We might take off Thursday because it is the little man's birthday. I think I need to take off for that. It's a 2-year-old birthday. That big old baby y'all see walk up in here, that little thing's 2. All right, guys, we will see y'all again tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, guys.